bumping into stuff. Today I'm going to be doing the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 tag, and I was tagged by Kelly Reads a Lot several months ago, so just not getting into it. I'm trying to have scheduled content now, so you're going to see tag videos from me on Tuesdays. I am booked out through the month of May, so I have 6 or 7 more tag videos that are already scheduled for me. But anyway, still feel free to tag me. I'm behind. So that's all I'm getting at. I will put down the original creator as well as Kelly's channel down below. But we're going to go ahead and get into this tag. The first question, 5 recent 5 stars. So I literally just went backwards in my bullet journal to figure out what the last 5 stars were. So I'm going to go in reverse order because I already have the book open. So one of them is going to be Something Like Gravity by Amber Smith. This is a romance with a trans protagonist, and I really enjoyed it. It doesn't necessarily have a clear-cut happy ending, so if you need to have something where it's like 100% happy ending, then I don't recommend it, but otherwise I would say go ahead and read it. Then I have Slumber, which I got an arc of, and it looks like this. It is about a detective who's trying to solve a murder case, and his only clue is this person called the Dream Eater. And it's this woman that runs this company where she goes inside people's dreams and she literally kills their nightmares. And she's been looking for the person who's committing these crimes as well, because there's a connection between her and someone she was very close to. That's all I can tell you without spoiling anything. Then we have Article 5 by Kristen Simmons. This is a YA Handmaid's Tale. I think most of you have heard of Handmaid's Tale. But if not, I'll explain how it's done in here. They have different moral statutes that they give out. So the country has been overtaken by these people who have instated these moral statutes. And if you don't follow these rules, they will lock you up, or they will kill you. And at this point, by the time they release Article 5, they're just killing. They're not even giving people trials. They're just taking them and then killing them. So Article 5 is when you have a child out of wedlock. Now this pertains to women or men. It doesn't matter. So if you're a single dad, they're going to take you too, because they know it's out of wedlock because you don't have someone helping you raise the kid. So they take you. There used to be trials, I guess, where you could be like, no, I had a mother, the mom died, or something like that. But like, no, they don't care. They also don't recognize LGBT couples, none of that stuff. So it's very dystopian. And so her mother is an Article 5 violator, so they take her to a reformation camp where they try to reform the children of these people, because clearly they came from immoral parents, so they're going to turn out immoral too. So they try to shape them and mold them with their ideals. And of course, there's a lot of resistance to that. And the reason why I say so much with Handmaid's Tale is not only that concept, but also the fact that there are women within these Reformation schools that very much so felt like the woman that was controlling all of the other women. And it's like they are part of this system. They have no alliance to their sex. They don't care. They will do whatever these men tell them to do to keep their position of power. So that's what I have to say about Article 5. Then we have some sneak peeks, okay? These are books that I read in April. I've had a pretty good reading month so far. I have Nowhere But Here by Katie McGarry. This is the first book that I've read from her so far, ever. And I really, really enjoyed it. This is about a motorcycle gang who lives within the limitations of the law, but they do have a gang in the sense of like one person's child is everyone's child. Like they're all protecting each other. But there is a rival motorcycle gang who is illegal. So they're doing a lot of shady stuff. And so they're wanting to come after them. And this guy's daughter comes into town for her grandmother's funeral, which is really funny because the grandmother is not dead. She was just like, if I'm going to spend all this money on a funeral, I want to attend it. So she throws a living funeral for herself in chapter 1. And so they find out that she's in town. So the dad has this other guy that she trusts protect her and like take her away. And so there's a romance where they're falling in love, and then it's like he's not supposed to like her because he's supposed to be her protector right now, and like her dad is kind of like his dad in a way, because her grandmother raised him when his parents were not able to because they were very young when they had him, and they just didn't have the state of mind to like be a parent. And so I really liked the romance between the two of them. It does get kind of hot and heavy, so I would definitely say upper YA. And then last but not least, we have my most recent 5-star, which is The Ravenous Dead by Darcy Coates. Also, if you are doing the, oh gosh, what is it called? Realmathon. This book is worth a lot of points. It's like 55 points. So definitely read it if you were thinking about it and you're doing Realmathon. Unless you're not on Sanctum's team, then don't read it. Read your low point books. Let Sanctum win. I'm on Team Sanctum. But anyway, The Ravenous Dead is the second book in a series. You could read it as a standalone. There are a few things that weave through, but you get like tiny references so that you're oriented in the story still. But this one in particular, there is a ghost that has half of his face missing, and he's been buried at an unmarked grave. So she's trying to help him pass on. She doesn't have any clues to go off of other than his death date. And then the other main entity is this figure that she calls the Shade. And so it's a new form of ghost that's like out for vengeance. It just wants to go on a killing spree. And so she enlists the help of her friends to kind of help her solve this mystery and also solve things about herself. Because in the first book, she was being chased by these people that she didn't know, and she had amnesia. She didn't even know that she could see ghosts at that point. And so in this one, you're getting to see more of her trying to help Ghost pass on, learning more about her abilities and what she can like really do and what she also can't do, some limitations there, and also more about the spirit world because she's forgotten some very important things that are putting her into danger a lot. The romance is still not happening in book 2. So if you're shipping Kira and Mason, it is still not happening in book 2. They're still in a friend zone. However, I didn't realize that book 1 took place within like 1 week's time frame, and book 2 is pretty quick as well. Not a lot of time is passing. So it makes sense that they're still in the friend zone, but I am totally here for it and I'm shipping it so hard. So yeah, still a 5-star even though there's no romance or even really a hint of one. I'm just wanting one because I'm a romance girl. But those are my 5 stars. Then we move on to 4 Autobot authors. So you can kind of see the shelf behind me. These are authors who I've read from before. I own multiple of their books. Same thing with this shelf right here. So the first one I'm going to tell you about is Amanda Hawking, which you can see this top shelf has a lot of Amanda Hawking. I've got the Tyrell series spin-offs. There's 2 spin-offs. So one of them is Ice Kissed, Fire Frost, and something Kingdom, I can't remember. And then the next one is the one that Kiana got me, The Morning Flower, and then there's 2 other books with that. I still need to read those. I believe I read both Frostfire and Ice Kissed. And I read the original Tyrell series, which is like Switched, Torn, and Ascend or something like that. Really loved it. I want to reread it. And then read the Frostfire series thing and then read the next series thing, because it's all the same world. I think the Morning Flower is like the Omet series or something, so it's a prequel trilogy. And then Frostfire is like a sequel series, so it happens after. None of them are happening at the same time, so you could just pick up one of them, but you do get cameos from Finn in the Frostfire series, and Finn, you don't want to be spoiled on, because he was one of the main characters in the first series, and my emotions. My emotions. I will forever love Finn, okay? I also like the other characters. So I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to give anything away in this video. Just go experience it for yourself. But yeah. Then we have, and then I've got the first book in the Wake series. I discovered Amanda Hocking before she was traditionally published. So most of her books I have in ebooks. So I have all of the original, they might have changed the files by now, but I have all of the original Switched Tyrell series. I have the Wake books in ebook. She also has a zombie duology that I read that I really loved. And then, of course, she has My Blood Approved, which I think was probably the first series that I read from her. Either that or Switched. I read them kind of back to back. I love Amanda Hocking books. They've never made me regret them. And then I've also got Freaks, which is a standalone. Yeah, I think I have all of Amanda Hocking's books either in ebook or physical. So, a true auto buy. She's got a duology too with Valkyrie in it. So I have that. And I started to read the first one, but I never finished, because I'm like that. I'll pick up a book, I'll read 50 pages, and then I'm like, oh, I want to read this too. So then I just forget on one of the books. But anyway, I've never been disappointed. So I don't even care to read the blurbs for Amanda Hocking books. I'll get them. Same thing goes for my next author, which is going to be Kate Marie. All of her books are on my red shelf, which is across the room over there. Because I've read them all. I was even a proofreader or an editor on some of them, so very familiar. Kate Marie is actually my best friend and also my editor. I was her first client for an editing job, and then we became friends after that. And then her book released a couple of months after that, and somehow we just became friends. So, but anyway, she is very, very prolific in that I think she's only been publishing since March of 2019, I think. And she probably has more than 20 novels out already. It's kind of ridiculous, the amount that she has out. But she manages to do it. She's the busiest person I know. But if you like fantasy and if you like fairy tale retellings, but that feel fresh, I would definitely check her out. And also, she does a lot of new adult romances, and she's getting a new pen name now, that's C.M. Haynes, that is going to be steamy, but it's also going to be multi-genre. So you're going to have paranormal, sci-fi, fantasy, and romance. Like, those are kind of the genres. She's also got a steampunk series that's coming out, but that's probably going to be several years down the line. I've already seen the schedule for up to 2025. I know about all the books that even you don't know about. Special privileges. Anyway. And then next is going to be, and these are not in any order, by the way. Next is going to be Allie Carter, which you can see right here. She is the one that did the Gallagher Girls series, which is like a spy school. And I discovered her at a Scholastics book fair. I was a high schooler, but I was working at an elementary school after school program. And so I saw the spy books at the Scholastics fair, and my mom was like, yeah, you can go get one. So I got one. So I have the whole series now. I was reading them as they were coming out. They were still coming out when I was going into the military. So I think when I read the first book, the character might have been in 10th grade and I would have been in 11th. So we were pretty much the same age. So I really resonate with those books. And that's one of my exciting series that is popular, but that I wish would have been as popular as like HP, because it's better. It's better. And there's spies, and there's like a boy spy school too that comes into play in book 2. It's just, it's so good, and Allie Carter is one of the reasons why I wanted to become an author, because I just love her imagination so much. Same thing with Amanda Hawking, and Amanda Hawking, having started as indie, really legitimized that pathway. So yeah, really like those incredible authors. But also Allie Carter has other books that are not part of the Gallagher Girls series. She has another spy trilogy, which I haven't started yet, which is about like a family of thieves. She's got one called Life After Death, which is like a ghost one. And then she has another one called I don't remember what it's called, but it's like set in Alaska, and it's a president's daughter and the boy that she was friends with, and it's like a romance, but they're enemies at the time. But I really liked it so much. She had like a little hand axe, but it was bejeweled and it was pink. So it was like girly girl, but girly girl bad A. But anyway, then we have April and Pike. So April and Pike is this right here. There's my April and Pike books. I need to do some rereads on those as well. So I have the Wings series, which I started when I was in the military. I read Wings. I really liked it, so then I bought the other books. And if you see the covers, oh, Life After Death is actually April and Pike. I got it confused. If you see the covers, how they're all kind of torn and warped looking, that's because this sucker came with me on the boat, and it's like all battered, okay? This is like the most battered series that I own. Like, my goodness. You only have so much storage on the ship, and so what I would do is I would lift my mattress on my bunk, and I would stack books under it. So I had like a 6 by 3 foot mattress area, so I would lift it and I would stack books. So this was one of the stacked books, and that's why it looks so crappy, but like, what good memories. This book has been around the world, y'all. But I never finished it. I got Destiny. I think I had pre-ordered Destiny, so I had to wait until I got home from deployment to read it, and I didn't get around to it. And then I found out years later that she actually had a 5th book in the series called Arabesque, which I was gifted last year by my friend Tracy, because I edited one of her short horror stories. So she sent me that, and she sent me Hail Mary. So I could finally finish the Wings series, but I do want to reread it because it was just so good. And then I have Glitter and Shatter, which is a duology, and it's kind of like a historical setting, but it's also futuristic. So it's like the future, but historical. And there's like drugs involved, which is what the Glitter is. It's like a drug. And she's like at this, I guess she's like a, she's in one of those houses, whatever you call them. I don't know. I haven't read them yet. And then there's Earthbound and Earthquake, which are, I guess, like witchy, like elemental type magic. So yeah, I need to read all of those books again because I love them so much. But yeah, those are my auto-buy authors. There are more. Those are the ones where I've actually read multiple books from them, rather than just getting one book by them and me being like, this is the best, or one series and being like, this is the best. Like, I've read a bunch of stuff from them, so like, yeah. Then, favorite 3 genres. So I have dystopian, apocalyptic, anything where the world is ending. And so, like, same thing with TV shows. I love dystopian TV shows, so much so that I will read them if they're dubbed from a foreign language. I probably won't read them if it's subtitles, Because then I have to pause, because I'm a slow reader. I have to like pause, read it, and then I can't read it and watch it at the same time. I don't know how people can do that. I cannot do subtitles. But dubbed, all the way. All the way. There's a Swedish show that's called Rain that I like, but I haven't finished it yet. But that one's dystopian, apocalyptic, so I like that. There's lots of movies that are apocalyptic. So sometimes it's apocalyptic where the apocalypse is currently happening, and then sometimes there's ones that are post-apocalyptic where it's already happened and now people are having to live within this world. So like The Walking Dead is kind of a post-apocalyptic because by the time Rick Grimes wakes up, the apocalypse has already happened. Like there's zombies everywhere. But yeah, so I really like post-apocalyptic, apocalyptic, and dystopian. So it could be anything from like The Walking Dead to like a romance dystopian, which would be like the Selection series by Kiera Cass. So that's kind of the range with the dystopian. I like it all. I like it all. Then we have space opera. So sci-fi that actually takes place in space. That's the sci-fi that I want. I could mention some authors, but they're not the best authors. Like, they're problematic, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I like stuff that takes place in space, and I've primarily only read YA books that do that, but I do now own some adult books that do that as well, so I'm really wanting to get into adult sci-fi, but so far I've only really tried Andy Weir. And then I also want to read this book. I have read the first 50 pages and really enjoy it, but I want to get into the series so bad. Every time I look at this book, I'm like, I want to read this. And that is Children of Time. And so this one, they're going to this new planet, and there's like spiders on it. But it's really good. So I really need to read that sucker. But anyway. Then the last one I'm going to go with is going to be fantasy romance. So it would have been easy for me to just say romance because I always want romance to be in the books, but I don't necessarily want a contemporary romance. There's a lot of times just not enough happening with a contemporary romance for me to be super invested. So if it's steamy, there is more levels of tension available for the writer to space things out so that you're always experiencing something new with that couple. But when it's like a clean and wholesome type romance, it might be up until the 80% mark before the couple even confesses that they like each other, and you get like a kiss, you might get a fade to black scene, and then the book is over. And I'm like, no, I want like 50% of the book to be the romance. Like, I need the tension, and then I need the exploration. I need to see it through all the way. And I don't get that a lot, but I am getting that more with adult romances. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not really reading a lot of contemporary romances that are YA anymore, because the level goes to a kiss, that's it, and it ends quickly after. So you can keep it a clean romance, but have some other way to put some tension in there, and it still get me. But usually the tension that you're able to put into a romance that stays sweet the whole time is going to be an adult romance. There's just more things that you can do with that because of the fact that the characters are not constantly in contact with each other the way that they are in a YA. So in a YA, you have a pretty good idea of who the other person is because you've probably been going to school with them for several years, so you've been able to be like an observer, and so you know what is consistent or inconsistent behavior for them. But in an adult romance, unless it's like a workplace romance, you don't really know what they're like outside of the time that they spend with you. So you can do a lot of twisty things with that to keep that tension high. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of phasing over. I still write young adult YA contemporary romance, but the way that I do it is I keep the romances themselves healthy, or they'll struggle with things, but it's like a healthy struggle. No one's abusive to each other. I don't do that. But the circumstances that are outside of the romantic couple, the exterior factors are very dark. So I like to have like 4 different plot lines going on at once. And then like one that weaves throughout the whole book. So different plot lines will resolve at different points, but then you'll have one that will take you the whole book to get to. That's the way that I do my contemporary stories. 1 or 2 plot lines to me is not enough to keep me engaged. I just don't care enough. I need like 4. I need 4 different significant things that are happening. I'm like, do I need to explain what I mean by that? Maybe. I don't know. Do I need to explain that? Okay, so like one of my books is not published, and it's going to change because I no longer feel comfortable writing a first-person perspective book with a main character who was raised in Vietnam and then came over to the United States. I don't know enough about it for me to feel like I wouldn't accidentally do something offensive, so I'm going to rework it in a different way. But I'm just going to give you kind of like the different threads that I'm talking about. So, of course, you have the romance thread. So you've got the different levels with the romance of like liking the person, like holding their hand or like accidentally bumping against them, that sort of thing. And then like kisses on the cheek and then regular kisses. Like there's the whole level, and you get those deliveries at different points throughout the book. Then you have her moving and her having to accept her new circumstances. It was kind of like a 90-day, like there's that show like 90-day engagement or something show, and it was like that where her mom had 90 days on her visa to get married to the guy. And so my character is trying to break them up because she wants to stay in Vietnam. So there's a school there because she's a violinist and she's always wanted to go to that school, and she knows that if she moves to the United States and like becomes a citizen there, it's going to be harder for her to go to that school. And because like locals will get the they don't take as many transfer students. There you go. I was like, what was I saying? So that's another thread. Then you have her love interest and the struggles that he's going through with his ADHD and being in high school for the first time. And he's one of those people where he has like a negative reaction to the medicine, so he can't be medicated. So he has to find other ways to manage the disorder. And then you also have the fact that T's mother wants her to write a song, like compose a song on the violin for the wedding. But all T has been able to compose is sad or angry songs because that's how she feels. And so Jonas has to help her free herself from the like rigidity of the way that she's been playing music and express her feelings and accept things as well. And she's also best friends with his sister, so she's worried about the sister like being mad at her if she winds up dating the brother. And so like there's a whole lot of different stuff that's happening in that story. And then you also have like the mother has her own struggles as well, so she is very much so trying to assimilate in ways, like she only speaks English. Even though she's not very good at it at this point. And so it kind of embarrasses her daughter a little bit because her daughter was taught English in school. And she's like, she would just rather her mom like use their actual language instead. She doesn't understand why she wants to assimilate so much because she feels like she'll lose a bit of like that cultural and like I said, she doesn't want to be there. She wants to just go back to Vietnam and have things the way that they were, even if they weren't the best, because like they struggled financially. They didn't have a lot of money. Like her mom was like a vendor that would go out because they have like these Love Day festivals and stuff. And yeah, so there's just a whole bunch going on with that. And then T's dad left her when she was a kid, and so all she has of him is the violin. So there's all this stuff that's going on in the background. But anyway, the only way I will write that story the way it was originally intended is if I like actually like become friends with someone from there who I can have help me along with the process and do like a sensitivity read. there are things that I drew from personal experiences, but that were not direct. So, like, the background with T and her dad was directly from one of my friends when they had the 2 children-in-law in China. Her dad left her when the mom had her because she was a girl. Like, that literally happened. And her mom did come over to the U.S. to marry, like, a wealthy man that did, like, tech and stuff like that. And she didn't know a lick of English, but her kid did, because her kid, which was my friend, she was very fluent, and she would like watch SpongeBob and stuff like that so that she could get dialects down. And I was a very talkative friend, so I was very much so like Jonas's sister, who was actually named Sissy. This is like a Southern book. And so I remember her telling me she really liked getting to sit at the lunch table with me and my friends because we were fast talkers. So she had to pick up on things really fast. And so it really helped with her English development. And she was smarter than everybody else. She went into, everyone else was having to take like foundations classes, and she was like in calculus. I was like, oh my goodness. They learn so much more stuff in the education system and other places. And so, yeah, T kind of feels that as well. She is very, like, her school had like dress uniforms, and they were very strict as far as like composure in class and all that kind of stuff. And here is Jonas, and he's very hyperactive, and like his teachers will let him tell jokes at the beginning of class, and she's like, why are you wasting valuable class time telling fart jokes? Like, this is not okay. And she's very serious about her education. But because she knows she's going to have to work twice as hard now that she'll be a transfer student. Like, her grades have to be the best, and she's trying to like be in every single club that she can to help her chances, because all she wants is to go be a violinist for this music school. And so yeah, just a lot of stinking plot threads. But like I said, I'll have to change some stuff because I don't have personal experiences other than just like college conversations I had with people from Vietnam, and like how the education system works and all that kind of stuff. I don't have enough of that knowledge. And as far as some of the like parent child relations, when it came to just the differences of education that they had in the time, and like socioeconomic differences as well, was gained through research with YouTube and like watching YouTubers that were first generation Vietnamese Americans. So it just wasn't quite enough. So that's why that book has been shelved, even though I did write it. So it's like, it's finished, but I don't feel comfortable releasing it. But hopefully that at least gave you enough of what I'm talking about when I say like I need multiple threads going on. I need complexity. I don't want it to be too simple, because simple is boring. Unless it's atmospheric. You can do a lot with atmosphere. But anyway, I got way off on a tangent. Okay. Then favorite place to read. I'm just going to be honest and tell you where I normally read. Okay? I read in my bed with the lamp on and the light on, because I need like extra light. Get comfortable doing that. And in the car. That's my most 2 frequent places to read. The car and in bed. If I'm doing an audiobook, I'll be in my office and I'll have the phone beside me playing the audiobook, and then I'll be doing games or something, or making graphics, doing something that doesn't take a lot of cognitive function on the computer, or I'll be playing a game on my phone while listening to it on my phone. So, depends on what I'm reading, but physical books, bed, and car. And then 1, book you promise to read soon. So I am going to go with this one because I'm literally currently reading it, but it's not going to be done by the time this video comes out on Tuesday. I'm filming this on the 8th, so I believe it's Saturday today. Pretty sure it's Saturday today. Yeah, this is not going to be done this week. So, and that is going to be The Adventures of Amina Sarafi. I was like Safari. Sarafi. This is actually the book club pick. I think it's called Pleasure My Shelf. And it's run by Paula and Jen from Genderqueer. For some reason, Family and Books. Is that what Paula's channel's name is called? I think. But yeah, so I believe the live show is going to be on Paula's channel, and you have until May. It's going to be like the first week of May. So if you want to get in on that, go ahead and pick it up. I will say that this is probably super expensive. Oh my goodness. So in the United States, it's $32, and in Canada, it's $39.50. But I got this as a book of the month. So that I think is like $16.99 or something, and it's a hardback. So if you're in the US or in Canada with one of the countries that allows book of the month, I would say go that route if you're wanting to purchase a physical copy, because $30 is just too expensive. They also have Babbel, which is another one that was like $30 that I refuse to pay because I do not have that money. But yeah, so that's that. And those are all of the questions. I don't really know who to tag with this. It's been out. This was several months ago. But, so I haven't looked to see who's done it or anything like that. But I am going to tag, who am I going to tag? I'm going to tag Tara, because that was the last tag that I did was from Tara. I think the channel is Tara Reads Books. I'm trying to look. No, Tara Talks Books. I almost had it right. I was off by one word. So I'm going to tag Tara for this one. And I'll also tag Books to Ashes. So those will be my two that I'll tag. I think I'm just going to keep it to like 2 people. Just because I'm lazy. And but if you're watching this, you can do it. But I think what I'll do is with my list, I'll just highlight when I tag people, and then I'll work my way through the list, because I also feel like people get overwhelmed when they do get tagged, and I was tagging everyone in every video, which might be a bit much. So if it's an original tag that I do, I'll tag everybody because I want everybody to do it and I'll watch all the tags. But if it's a tag that I didn't come up with, I think I'll just stick with 2 people, and I'll cycle through the list so that I'm not always tagging the same person and then you feel obligated like you have to do the tag. But that is all I have for today. So thank you for watching. I am going to go. I'm probably going to read a little bit more of this tonight. I'm like 70 something pages in, so I might try to get to page 100. And I actually might read some of the Count of Monte Cristo, because for some reason that sounds good to me right now. But I need to write as well, because I'm really wanting to finish my book by the 15th, and I didn't write anything yesterday. But I'm also just feeling like relaxing this weekend. And so I might just do some reading today, to be honest, because I'm just feeling the reading mood. And I just want to relax. But I will see y'all in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share with friends. If you want to leave me a comment, leave me an octopus, and I'll know that you got to the end of the video. If there's not an octopus, then just like any kind of sea creature you can find will be fine. I think that'll be cool. Alright, I'll see y'all later. Bye.